You know, we always tell women the same things. Don't go out at night. Stay in the light. Stay where people can see you. Well, Ashling Murphy did everything right. She was on a busy public path. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun was shining. But in the span of just 11 minutes, none of that mattered. She didn't vanish into the shadows. She was taken in broad daylight. What really happened? Please like and subscribe to see more stories like this. This is the shocking case of Ashling Murphy. Ireland. You know, when you think of it, you think of that amazing scenery, those endless stretches of green fields, the rainy weather, the cozy pubs. It sits right there, right beside the UK. And sure, they share some history, but Ireland has its own kind of magic. From the cliffs of Moher to the haunting music of Enya, every aspect of the culture just has that je ne sais quoi. It's sprinkled with a wee bit of fairy dust, you could say. Every corner is steeped in myth, legend, and charm. But in Tullamore, the unthinkable happened. A crime so vicious, so senseless, that it tore this beautiful country apart. From politicians to everyday people, everyone was just terrified.
Tullamore Garda Station attended to an incident at the Grand Canal Way at Cappancor in Tullamore, following a call from a member of the public. At the scene, Garda discovered a young woman with serious injuries. Medical attention was provided, but despite the best efforts of the medical team who attended, this young lady passed away. The injuries, we believe, at this time are consistent with an assault.
So, let's talk about Ashling. Born into a close-knit family in County Offaly, Ashling was, well, she was the embodiment of talent and kindness, just pure, infectious joy. By day, she was Ms. Murphy, a beloved first-class teacher at Durrow National School. She shaped those young minds with the kind of patience and genuine warmth that kids just adore. But beyond the classroom, music was her soul's language. She was a gifted traditional Irish musician. Her fiddle, they didn't just play notes, they told stories, they danced. She was, quite literally, fit as a fiddle. She loved to exercise, loved her family, and even with a busy schedule, she always made time for dinners, for events. She had a boyfriend, Ryan. They'd known each other since they were 15. He loved her to the moon and back. She was a young woman at the very beginning of a life brimming with promise. January 10th, 2022. She went to drop off groceries for Ryan because, due to COVID, they were isolating. He wanted to give her a hug, but since they had a trip planned, he figured he'd see her in a few days and give her all the hugs she could get. Or was he? January 12th, 2022. It began as just an ordinary day. Ashling taught in the morning and then planned an afternoon run along the familiar towpath of the Grand Canal. It's a place of peace, usually, nature, a popular spot for locals. Now here is the heartbreaking part. Before she left, her mum was actually worried about her safety. She asked if she could maybe jog somewhere else, but Ashling, she just hugged her mum and said, "Mum, I'm 23 years old, love you," and she left. Was it a premonition or just normal parents worrying? We may never know, but in the fading light of that winter afternoon, the unthinkable happened. In a place she knew, in broad daylight, Ashling Murphy was attacked and her life was brutally cut short. The news, it rippled out. First, it was just a local tragedy, then a national horror, a wave of shock, then grief, then a profound collective sorrow washed over Ireland and reverberated across the world. I mean, how could this happen to someone so bright, so innocent, in a place so ordinary? Ashling's death wasn't just a personal tragedy, it became a raw, painful flashpoint. It ignited a nationwide conversation about the safety of women, about the fear that shadows too many women's lives as they simply try to exist, to walk, to run, to live. Vigils were held across Ireland and in Irish communities globally. Her beloved traditional Irish music, the tunes she played with such joy, became an anthem of remembrance. But who was responsible? On that same day, two women walking on the canal saw a bike and heard a woman crying. At first, they thought she'd just fallen off the bike, so they went to help, but they saw a man towering over her, pinning her down. When he saw them, he yelled at them to get away. They didn't have their phones, so they ran to the nearest house to call the police. By the time the police arrived, she wasn't moving, and the attacker gone. So who was he? The assailant had a distinct jacket and a unique mountain bike. He was believed to have bruises and cuts. Ashling's Fitbit data, and this is chilling, it helped establish the timeline. It showed erratic readings and then stopped detecting a heartbeat. Experts estimated the time of death around 3:31 p.m. At first, a man matching the description was arrested, but later released. The community was gripped by fear. A killer was on the loose. Everyone hugged their loved ones a little tighter that night. Then, a few days later, a man reported to a nearby hospital with cuts and bruises. His name was Jozef Puska. Because the case was so high profile, the hospital staff, they called the police. Police searched his car, his house. They interviewed him. At first, he spun a story, said he was attacked by a man in a mask. But on a subsequent interrogation, he confessed. He admitted to killing her. He even offered his DNA, which tragically matched the DNA found on Ashling's fingernails. The legal process began. Puska was charged with murder. He pleaded not guilty, claiming he had no memory of confessing because of medication he was on for his wounds. But a pharmacology professor testified that the dose he was on wouldn't have affected his memory like that. Finally, on November 9th, 2023, Jozef Puska was convicted of murder by a unanimous jury. On November 17th, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge, Mr. Justice Tony Hunt, he remarked that if he had the authority to impose a whole life term, it would have been richly deserved. But look, Ashling Murphy is remembered not for the darkness of her death, but for the radiant light of her life, for her music that continues to be played, for the children she taught. Her story is a tragic reminder of a life unfulfilled, but also a testament to the impact one bright spirit can have. Ashling's song may have been cut short, but her melody lingers. A beautiful, heartbreaking tune in the heart of Ireland and beyond. May she rest in peace, and may her light continue to guide.